What's up, guys? I'm John.
My name is Chris.
And we are the Heck, and today we're checking out another freaking episode of Overlord freaking lore. Chris, what's this one about?
This one is about who is Aureole Omega, Overlord's mysterious 7th Pleiades sister and gatekeeper of Nazarick.
Dude, I am
That's a
so glad
mouthful.
you read that, because I can't read even my own name sometimes when it's in print, and that was a freaking mouthload. But
I don't know if I don't even remember that name.
I don't either.
We might have heard of him, but
I honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but I do feel like, man, I don't know. I don't even want to say who I think this might be. If it ends up being that person, I'll tell you guys during this episode. If it ends up not being the person, I'll be like, I didn't call it.
okay.
But I have an idea. I have a theory on who I think that might be.
We have had some comments of people asking us to check out the Pleiades series.
Yeah.
That's probably where we would have seen that person. I would
Dude,
say.
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. We should totally get into that.
Dude, I'm down for that.
I would freaking
for
love
sure.
to. But either way, homies, if y'all are new to our channel, smash that sub button. Let's check this out together. But just know that we're going through all of the Overlord lore as well. We've already gone through episodes like all of season 1 through 4 on our YouTube channel as well as on our Patreon. And it's unedited on our Patreon. If you guys want to head over there, it's like $1 to check out all of our anime reactions.
Yeah.
So if you guys do want to head over there, it helps our channel out significantly. And we freaking love you guys to death for it. But
Yeah.
and saying that, let's get into this freaking video. Whoa! And they're freaking
No.
What else?
No. In Nazarick, there exists an elusive 7th member of the Pleiades. A young girl who, if you've only ever watched the anime, you probably weren't even aware of.
Yeah, that's
outside
kinda
of the
wild.
brief
We
mentions
weren't.
in our previous videos. So today, we're gonna talk about that young girl. That mysterious 7th sister. The final member of the Pleiades. Aureole Omega. It's understandable that you don't know who she is. After all,
The one with the gauntlets
brief
is the
clues
one I
and
remember.
mentions of her have been cut almost entirely from the anime. Hell, even the
Oh,
light
dang.
novel readers may not have been paying close enough attention to connect all the dots. But there are definitely plenty of scenes, clues, and references to piece together a decent amount of detail here.
I gotta say, like, how does he have enough freaking content on her to do 16 minutes and 51 seconds of a video?
That's a good question.
But
If
before I get
it's so
started,
obscure.
I wanted to let you guys know that we have launched a brand new merch design.
Oh,
one
that's
involving
freaking
each
cool.
of the Pleiades' 6 stars.
Merch.
You
Oh.
know, just to show some of
The
the other
sisters.
NPCs some love. So if you're interested in this design or the more original Succube and Nabe designs, then
Oh,
feel free to check
dang.
those out with the links
I
in
had
the
no idea
description.
homie had his own
Now,
freaking line.
let's
Why
get
didn't you
to
check
Rad.
those out?
Yeah.
Aureole Omega is the youngest and arguably most powerful member of the Pleiades.
Still
She's a
showing us
human
6.
girl and one of the few non-heteromorphs of Nazarick. That being said, she's actually immortal, meaning she doesn't age.
What?
And so denizens of Nazarick typically don't consider her as an actual human. Well, it's because the majority of them despise humans and are resistant to the idea of them being allowed into Nazarick.
Yeah.
Those
Makes
that
sense.
are aware of Aureole Omega's existence, such as her sisters or Albedo, will often correct themselves and point out that while they do hate most humans, Aureole Omega is a notable exception.
Aw.
So yeah, she's a character that's never appeared in the anime. But what's even more interesting is, in the novels, she's actually never appeared directly in any scene.
What?
I mean, Yuri Alpha did have a brief conversation with her via the message spell in one of the side stories.
Oh.
Though that's really all there is. That said, other characters have made offhanded comments about her, which has helped to illuminate certain aspects of her personality and appearance.
Again, I gotta say,
She's said to have
17
the
minute
image
video.
of a Miko,
Yeah.
meaning shrine maiden or priestess. She wears a white kimono-esque
That's
jacket
wild.
called a haori,
We were just talking
and
about
a
shrine
pair of
maidens.
red trousers called a hakama.
I gotta say, I didn't know that Miku stood for that, and that's actually one of my favorite guitarists from Bandmade.
Oh.
That's her name.
Traditionally
Heck yeah.
speaking, Miko were seen as shaman and spiritualists who would communicate with and or exercise spirits. A modern-day Miko can be found attending to shrines,
Oh, Miko?
assisting in hosting cultural festivals, and participating in ceremonial dances.
That's so wild,
It's
dude.
a position that's
That game
deeply rooted in the
sounds so
Japanese religion of Shintoism, a polytheistic one wherein the spiritual realm coexists with the physical world. And kami, meaning divine spirits, manifest themselves in the natural world as rocks, trees, rivers, animals, places, and even people. There are said to
damn.
be millions of different spirits, and every single one of them are personified, given a name, ascribed a personality, and even have relationships and interactions with other kami or spirits. It's these personified kami and yokai that often become the subject of Japanese
Yokai.
entertainment media, as I'm sure you've already noticed with anime like Noragami or Uchoten Kazoku. As
Both
for
of those are
Aureole
new to
Omega's
me.
personality, she's actually kind of nice. More specifically, she's been described as sensible, down-to-earth, and rational, as well as gentle, with an adorable smile and a cute laugh.
We sure we're not
Based
talking about
on these
Beto here?
descriptions and
I
the
mean-
Japanese shrine maiden trope, her character seems to be that of a
Only
Yamato
if you're her
Nadeshiko,
friend.
Yeah.
ideal woman. One that's gentle and supportive, but also competent and reliable. As much as I'd like to talk about her creator's motivation for designing her this way, that person's identity is even more mysterious than she is.
What?
So it's a bit difficult to speculate on what kind of influences her creator may have had with regards to any of this.
Again, I gotta
As
say,
for
how
her
do you
name,
make a
though,
whole video on
as
this?
usual with Overlord characters, it has plenty of symbolic significance. Strictly speaking, Aureole is the word for the ring of golden light found in many images of Christian saints.
Huh.
It's the holy glow that surrounds their entire body,
Oh, that's cool.
effectively symbolizing that their
Kinda like an
personage
aura.
has been touched by the divine.
Mm.
Though it can also be used as a synonym for the halo around their heads.
Ah.
The word can also be used to describe the glow surrounding bright light sources, such as the sun. Though I'm sure the former definition is much more applicable to Aureole Omega's character. So,
Is that a
though
picture
she's
of
more
her?
connected to Western religions rather than Eastern ones, it may serve to reinforce Aureole's connection to the spiritual as a Miko priestess, as if to imply that she's blessed with divine powers. Maybe it's even to evoke the sun as symbolic of her warm and radiant personality, or, quite possibly, both. Omega, on the other hand, is the final letter of the Greek alphabet,
Yeah,
marking her as
and-
the final, and therefore youngest, sister of the Pleiades, each of whom also have a Greek letter, which, if you didn't know, corresponds to their age. Alpha being first, Beta second, Gamma third, Epsilon fourth,
They're
Delta
all
fifth,
thirst
and
traps,
Zeta
dude.
sixth.
Damn.
Straight up.
So, as the youngest and most secretive member of the Pleiades, what
I
exactly
mean, who
does
wouldn't
she
want to
do?
have any of them as
Well,
bodyguards?
I mean, right, yeah.
I mean,
Aureole
honestly.
Omega
Protect
is
me.
the area guardian of the Cherry
From
Blossom
myself.
Sanctuary.
Now.
Now knowing the roots of her name and appearance, it makes sense that she would inhabit a traditional Japanese Shinto shrine.
that's cool.
One that's surrounded by cherry blossoms, or more commonly known as sakura trees. They're the type that blooms in spring, and it's a popular Japanese pastime to visit shrines surrounded by such trees, in order to properly enjoy the scenery and the atmosphere. Unsurprisingly, the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary is also filled with various Yggdrasil monsters designed after mythological Japanese kami and yokai, and they
that's
serve
cool.
to act as Aureole Omega's attendants
Freaking
and
fox.
guards.
Yeah.
Two of which are mentioned specifically. There's Uka no Mitama, literally translating to the rice in storehouses, and then Otoshi, meaning New Year. They're a pairing of brother and sister in Shinto mythology, and are believed to be the kami of food, grains, agriculture, and harvest. They're often associated with Inari Okami, the kami of foxes, agriculture, and prosperity, and one of the principal deities in
that'll do.
Shintoism. Now, as individual creatures of Yggdrasil, Uka no Mitama is a level 85 monster that takes the appearance of a young woman in a fox mask, and she's adept at psychic magic and mental attacks. She also has a bestial form that sacrifices her spellcasting capabilities in exchange for greater physical power. I
pretty
suspect
cool.
it to be something reminiscent of a gigantic fox creature.
Yeah.
As for Otoshi, his appearance is that of a young man in a sun motif mask. His abilities are likely related to his mythological counterpart, something along the lines of powers that complement his older sister's psychic attacks and bestial transformation. As of now, we know that there are multiple Uka no Mitamas serving under Aureole, as well as at least one Otoshi, if not more, that act as servants and guards. As for the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary itself, it's actually located on the 8th floor of Nazarick. Little is known about the rest of the floor's makeup or characteristics, except that it is Nazarick's final defensive line in the case of an invasion, as well as the home of its most powerful guards. If you're wondering why, it's because many members of the guild Ainz Uogon were power gamers, min-maxers, and strategists, and they were really good at finding broken combinations of abilities that were borderline exploits.
That would be
For the
wild
8th
to be a
floor,
part of that.
It's
guild.
theorized that they basically put their
That'd be
heads
the crew
together
that we were in.
and came up with the most broken combos they could think of.
I'd just be the guy
piling
that's
them
like,
all
hey, I
together on
like
a single
everybody be
floor.
like, well, we just
The
like
victim
having
is
him
the
around. He
floor
seems
guard,
like an alright dude,
and
but
he
I
has a
suck at the
selection of
game.
abilities or skills that allow him to sacrifice his own life in exchange for an extremely useful effect, It's theorized as a massive buff for allies or a debuff for enemies. This, in combination with Rubedo, who is believed to be uncharacteristically powerful as a result of having been created via the use of a world item, as well as the other powerful monsters on the floor, possibly even including Aureole Omega herself, the guild was once able to fend off the invasion of an 8-guild alliance.
Damn.
So yeah, the
Good
8
lord.
is
8
pretty
guild
stacked.
I know,
alliance.
yeah.
Shifting our focus back to Aureole herself now. She has 3 main responsibilities as a denizen of Nazarick. First, she is the leader of the Pleiades 7 Sisters, of which normally Sibas would be in command, and the group is then known as the Pleiades 6 Stars.
Okay.
But if Sibas is unable to lead, Aureole Omega's guidance is then needed.
Oh, wow.
It's wild that
Pleiades
she's the youngest
are then
and she's
required to
guiding
assist
it.
Aureole
Yeah.
in one of her other responsibilities. Either way, the Pleiades can be assigned to follow her command instead.
Why haven't they
This
showed her in
could
the
very
anime?
well have been nothing more than a random fact written in her bio somewhere. I mean, initially when everything
Guess
was
just
just a game in
Sebas has always been
Yggdrasil,
there.
Yeah.
Omega was just an NPC sitting around on the 8th floor. The guild members had no real way of getting the Pleiades, a bunch of mindless NPCs who were only capable of following basic movement instructions or AI scripts, to actually follow her command. The best that they could probably do was drag the Pleiades all the way down to the 8th floor, or drag Aureole Omega all the way up to the 10th floor, and then have them stand next to each other so that they were able to fight enemies together.
I
Still
gotcha.
though, the guild members did enjoy opportunities to roleplay. Perhaps their true intent was to have Aureole Omega be the leader of the Pleiades, with Sibas just as her second in command.
It's wild
But
who are
instead,
all in
they
the
decided
Pleiades,
against
though.
it and
Yeah.
agreed that her powers were better utilized protecting the 8th floor. Or perhaps the person that created her also created the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary, kind of like their own little private pet project. And
yeah,
they
that
simply
makes
declared
sense.
somewhere in her bio that she was a Pleiades too, as well as included the minor detail that
Who's
she
that?
could act as their alternate leader, but without consulting or asking for permission from the creators of the other members. Who knows? Aureole's second major responsibility is to monitor the teleportation network of Nazarick and
Oh, that's freaking
intercept
cool.
any enemies. Normally, teleportation spells into, through, or out of Nazarick are blocked by various spells that prevent anyone without a ring of Ainz or Gon from doing so. And the
wild.
ring itself also has the appropriate teleportation magic to allow even the non-spellcasting guild members to quickly and efficiently move through Nazarick.
Man,
After all,
so really quick, I have a question for anybody that has read all the light novels, and I'm not sure if they're even finished writing all of them yet, but like, has she appeared in there yet? Because at the time that this came out, I'm not sure if actually the last episode or the last season that came out. Is anybody like, are they
don't know.
finished with it?
With the light novels?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like I saw somewhere where there supposed to be another one, maybe.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully they end up showing
its
her
floors
something
were
like that, but
practically
apparently
miniature
they hadn't at
dimensions
the
in
time
and
of this.
themselves, spanning miles in some
hope they
cases.
keep going with the
and
anime,
so
though.
Yeah, me
efficient
too.
traversal would be really important to the guild members. As a matter of fact, going from one floor to another might actually require some kind of interdimensional teleportation.
Good
almost
God.
as if the floors were separate level instances, and traversing between one and the other.
Yeah, it didn't
required
seem
a
like
rolling
you just,
swing.
took
This
some
is
stairs
part
to
of
get
the
to the
reason
next
Yeah,
floor
yeah.
or whatever.
Some of the Guardians the rings back.
Little
and why he
interdimensional
also orders
portal
the
getting
Guardians
between.
to not take the rings with them outside of Nazarick. For them to accidentally fall into the wrong hands would allow a back door into almost any location in Nazarick, including
Good
even
lord.
the treasury, bypassing any defenses in the process.
That's the
God,
room I wanna
Scrooge
be in.
Without a
McDuck.
way
That
to
place, dude.
teleport into Nazarick would be blocked, or even worse, they could have their destination redirected into a particularly dangerous, powerful trap or ambush. Of course,
We know what happens
ostensibly
then.
you could make traversing Nazarick impossible without these rings, blocking any transportation using defensive spells, and sealing up the major connections between floors to prevent traversal on foot. But the developers of Yggdrasil wanted to encourage guild versus guild combat.
I gotta
and
tell you
they
something really
didn't.
quick. So, this is so random, but if you guys look up Yggdrasil Shinjuku, look at what comes up. Just please do me a favor, pause this video, Google that really quick.
Yggdrasil Shinjuku?
Not what I thought it was.
Huh.
Not at all what I thought it was, dude. I was over there like hanging out with my friend Scotty. I was like, dude, no freaking way. Overlord's everywhere. I was like, let's go in here. And he was like, yeah. And then whenever we got in there, guess what it is? It's a boys club, dude. Have you heard what a girls club is? Do you know what that is? It's where you go and like, it's like a bar, but then you like, you have like a nice lady come hit on you and like communicate with you, and she gets you to buy drinks.
Oh, okay.
So it's essentially that, but like dudes do that to you.
Oh.
They like flirt with you and get you to buy
Okay.
drinks. So it's like a boys bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Overlord, hell
Or
yeah.
guilds
No.
building
Well,
impenetrable
not hell
fortresses
yeah.
that could never be invaded.
Be like, you even know who the king of Nazarick is, right? Give me a
Where's
drink.
Lord Hines?
Yeah.
It would meticulously map every guild layout submitted to the server in order to ensure that at least one continuous path existed from the entrance of the guild all the way to its heart, aka the throne room, at all times.
I feel like he's giving us a lot of
Presumably,
extra
defeating all
information as
defenders
well
and
too. That's
occupying
not
this
just his
location
sister.
uncontested
Yeah.
would grant the invaders ownership over the dungeon, booting AniNews out in the process. Furthermore, there were other restrictions, such as the total length of the path and so on. Any guild base that failed to adhere to these rules would be repeatedly penalized with extremely high fees each day and quickly go bankrupt.
No shit.
So, what did Ainz and the rest do to meet these strict guild layout guidelines? Well, it's actually quite impressive. You see, Nazarick also includes a separate teleportation network, comprised of a series of connected permanent gate spells,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
each linked to a different point of the tomb.
That
It's
makes
a
sense then.
network
That's
that
awesome.
allows
Okay.
any individual, even those without spellcasting powers, the ability to traverse the entirety of Nazarick
Oh,
on
nice.
foot, even without a ring of Ainz The end result
Pretty
is a
solid idea.
complex pathway that leads all the way to the throne room, and it fits within the rules demanded by the Ariadne system.
Okay.
But here's where they kind of cheat the system.
Yeah,
They
you don't
also
know
set
which
up the
portal takes
ability
you
for
where.
someone, such as a guild member, or now Aureole Omega, to monitor this teleportation network. And when I say monitor, I mean she can redirect the destination of any individual who is
damn.
attempting to use the gate spells. The way it worked
That's
is that
pretty
so
cool.
long as a single continuous
you could,
path
like,
still
never get to
existed
the
heart of
end.
the
Yeah,
dungeon,
because they just
this
keep
was
on messing
okay.
with you.
For instance, there could be 4 different gates spread across the entirety of the first floor of Nazarick, each of which would normally lead to a specific destination on the second floor. That being said, the guild would be able to have any 3 of them at any given time redirect people into traps or ambushes,
Oh
so
my
long
God,
as the
nice.
4th and final one still allowed that normal progression to the second floor. A small group of invaders could potentially be trolled repeatedly,
Didn't that happen?
as each gate they attempt to enter could have its destination swapped at the last second,
I think
redirecting
probably.
them into a
Because there's one,
continuous
yeah,
non-stop
those
path
dudes
of
got it
traps
bad
instead.
because they got those dudes that
Even
kept on going
invaders
there.
who knew exactly how the
Cockroaches.
scheme
Yeah.
worked would still be forced to split into even groups and coordinate over long distances to enter all gates simultaneously.
Damn.
This meant that only one of the groups would make it through, while the rest would be sent back to a previous floor and have their time wasted, or potentially moved to a later floor and cut off from reinforcements.
But then it would just keep
That being
happening,
said,
wouldn't it?
It's implied that
Wow.
the redirection trap isn't nearly quite as sophisticated as this. It could very well be that there may only be
That
a
guy
single
just had a
destination that
horrible death.
Aureole can redirect them all to.
That's so funny.
So it may only be effective for smaller groups or individuals, and not sufficient to stop an organized army.
I'm not
It
sure
really
that
just
he got it
depends
the
on how
worst,
you
though, out of
interpret
all the
the
people
rather
falling
vague
into a
wording that
trap.
the light novel uses. A lot of
Oh, yeah, I
specifics and
forgot about that
details
one
as to
lady.
the exact
Yeah.
mechanisms are lacking.
Got him
It's
pretty
also
good.
probably against the Ariadne system rules to teleport people into a place that they can't escape from. So ultimately, if they manage to survive whatever trap or ambush that lies in wait for them, they can still press on. It's also implied that the monitoring and redirection capability does not extend to those teleporting using the Ring of Ainz or Golem. After all, it wouldn't make sense that Ainz would be so paranoid about the rings falling into the wrong hands if the person monitoring the teleportation network could deal with any intruders in the same manner. In any case, a similar scheme to the aforementioned defense is demonstrated repeatedly during
Yeah,
the
that
invasion
thing.
of
Good
Nazarick.
God, dude. That
Though
one
in
be,
that scenario, they used teleportation
I mean,
traps
maybe
instead of
not
gates.
that horrible,
Anyway,
but it'd probably be pretty
presumably,
horrible.
The monitoring spells
like,
allow one
where's
to
the
know who is moving
cockroach
through
portal?
what
Yeah,
gates.
yeah, yeah.
Though it's not
can you
clear
bring that
how much
cockroach
information
portal?
Aureole has provided.
All right, let's do this
Various
one time really
divination
quick.
spells
Ding
exist
cockroach
which allow you to
portal.
know
Let's just
information
try it
about
out.
an area or foe, such as detect life or detect magic,
that's
both
cool.
telling if there are any living creatures or active magic spells in a specific area. There are also spells to view statistical information, such as an enemy's HP or MP. I assume advanced divination spells also exist, which can provide more detailed information, such as race, name, stats, equipment, and so on. Or even ones
love
that act
seeing
as
those
spy
little
cameras
things, but
in
it's
order
like
to
we don't get
secretly
enough
view
in
an
the
area.
show.
These would be especially
Or like
helpful in
this
allowing
channel.
Aureole to carefully examine anyone using the teleportation gates. But to summarize everything that we just talked about, as the dedicated monitor of the teleportation network, Aureole Omega is pretty much Nazarick's security guard, or literal gatekeeper, sitting in her little
Wow.
security hub with camera feeds pointing to every gate location
So
in
I guess
Nazarick.
that makes sense why we
Personally,
never saw her.
our
She's
headcanon
just
is that
monitoring.
Aureole Omega sends message spells to anyone approaching the gates of Nazarick, asking them to present their identification or state the purpose of their visit. Sort of like those security guards that you see in movies who man the entrances of a secure base over an intercom. In actuality though, she's fairly quiet and keeps to herself, unless she notices an oddity or an unauthorized user, which is why her appearances are so far and few between. Okay, now this may seem like an abrupt stop, but I'm going to end it here before moving on to her final and most important duty, as well as her build. The reason being that if I go any further, I won't have enough time to get this video out in a timely manner.
Oh god.
Hopefully part 2 won't be far behind. And since I'm also in the middle of the shelter videos, you already know that there's plenty
can't
more
freaking
Overlord
wait,
content to
dude.
come.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I go, don't forget you can buy the new merch designs from the link in
Those
the
do look
description.
pretty awesome,
Now,
so don't
as
be
always,
surprised if you
thank
see me
so
wearing
much for
one
watching,
soon.
And
Yeah.
if you enjoyed this type of anime content,
Boom,
then
make
you
sure you
already know
guys
what
hit
to
that
do.
subscribe button
So-
on there. But I do want to check one thing really quick, because looks like, how strong is the leader? Where's the Sheltier stuff, dude? Oh, wait, no, but, no, where's Sheltier?
There's Albedo.
Yeah, but where's Sheltier at in his stuff? I don't know, it says that, do you see her? Maybe it's in another thing, but I think that,
There it is. There's 3,
yeah.
4.
Oh, God.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. But man, I wonder why they've got it kind of slightly out of order than it seems like here. So next one is how strong is the leader of Overlords of battle mates. So I think it's going to be all the battle mates.
The Yuri Alpha.
That'll be freaking cool, dude. That'll be freaking cool, man. I don't know. So like this one was kind of, in my opinion, just a little scattered, you know? Pretty scattered, but we probably learned a lot of really cool things there that like I didn't know before. So
Yeah.
for sure that was pretty cool.
Definitely a lot more about how the security works.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Nazarick, like the teleportation and stuff. That makes a lot of sense because I didn't think about it until I said that, but it's not like there's a direct path between floors.
Yeah.
Like
I
you
didn't
never
think about
really
that
saw
either.
him walking from one floor to the next. It was always just like, teleport
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Especially whenever Ian's like first going around the place and he went to the Coliseum where the twins were at. Like that was,
Yeah, there's everything's just so massive. You're
Yeah.
like, how is this a floor?
and there was like the sky and stuff like that
Yeah.
out there too. So it didn't look like there was like a floor and a ceiling. And a lot of the times while they're going through the dungeon, or when they're going through Nazarick, it doesn't seem like there necessarily is a floor or there's a ceiling.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like they're not even in a building. Kind
yeah,
of. It seems like.
yeah, it just seems massive. But I don't know. I'm very stoked to be checking out the next one. Let us know if we need to check out that the spin-off show or like the Pleiades, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm down for that anyway.
And also, if anybody has the word on where the freaking Overlord movie is at, because I know it came out in Japan, so if anybody's got their ears to the streets about that, let us know in the comments as well, homies, because can't
Yeah.
wait to check that out. But either way, y'all be freaking good. If y'all need anything at all, message us, and we will catch y'all later. Freaking toodles!
Later.
What